From WKYT Podcast, this is Uniquely Kentucky. I'm your host, Amber Philpott. Hello, podcast listeners. Okay, how many of you made those New Year's resolutions and you've already broken those resolutions? I made a pact with myself a long time ago that I wasn't going to make resolutions, but rather every year set goals for myself. Goals that might include my health, my wellness, adventure, organization, lifestyle, you name it. Nothing was off the table when it comes to setting those goals, right? So this year I've set some interesting and, well, maybe quirky goals for myself. I'm an avid runner and I'm just trying to be diligent about tracking my daily mileage. I'm an avid bookworm, so I want to document every book that I read this year. I actually got a how-to guide to learn to letter, maybe in the event of trying to reduce my stress level. And I'm actually working to reduce my carbon footprint by eliminating some items in my life that just create a lot of extra trash or recyclable material. So far, so good on those fronts. But one resolution that I know many of you out there make is to just simply get healthier in the new year. And for anyone who knows me knows that I am an active runner. I'm a fitness junkie. I love to work out. And I can also sometimes be pretty hard on myself when it comes to missing workouts. And I know that there are some of you out there like that you kind of beat yourself up if you don't get to the gym or you don't lose so many pounds. And so this podcast today is to kind of talk a little bit about that with someone who helps people on a daily basis deal with some of those kinds of things when it comes to working out, getting to the gym, getting your workouts in. So I brought in a dear friend of mine. He's pushed me to be a better version of myself in the gym for about the last 7 or so years. We trained together at one place, and then when he left there, I followed him to Burn Boot Camp, and it opened in Lexington about 2 years ago. And I want to be up front and say, yes, I am a client at Burn, but I want to be clear that in no way in doing this podcast am I getting anything out of this from Burn Boot Camp. So please welcome my dear friend, Jarad Foglesong, head trainer at Burn Lexington. Hey, buddy.
Hey, how are you? Thanks for having me.
Hey, man, it's the new year. How are you doing?
Doing well. What about you?
I'm good. Do you make New Year's resolutions?
I don't so much make resolutions as I focus more on the long-term results of some of the goals I've set. And that stuck with me when you were talking about the goals you've set more so than a resolution. And we're always trying to create change, but sometimes that change comes from within inside of you. So you're not really trying to change your personality or the characteristics in the way you live. We're just trying to create the best version of yourself in regards to that change.
So Jarad and I have known each other a long time. It's funny. So I actually met his wife before. She worked at my chiropractor's office. And then just in those weird ways, you get hooked up with people. So I've been with Jarad so long that we've worked out a ton. I've been to his wedding, the birth of his child. So we are old friends. And he does push me both in the gym and just really to be a better person. Let's talk about Burn Boot Camp, first of all, because I've worked out a lot of different places, and I'm not just saying this because I'm there, but the community that has been created around a simple place opening. And let me tell people, this isn't your traditional gym, if you will. There's no equipment. It's really just you, a floating floor and a hard surface and some weights maybe, right? So what's the concept behind Burn?
So Burn is cool in that regard with the community aspect. And we have some sayings and slogans on the wall. And one of those is we don't use machines. We are one. Mm-hmm. So we try to make it a functional workout that you are comfortable in your skin, comfortable in trying new things and stepping outside your comfort zone, and you have your friends and your teammates there to support you. And we all understand that everybody has their starting point, like everybody has their day one, and somebody may have been with us since the beginning or prior to, like you have. Your day one could have been 7 years ago, but you get it in that somebody might be starting today, and we like to welcome them in with open arms and meet them where they stand, and don't try to do something that they're not comfortable with yet. And Burn is so cool in that aspect that we put a lot of knowledge in the surface that we work out on, as well as the workouts that we customize to your needs.
I have been so amazed by just the power of social media. So when Burn first came to Lexington, I mean, we did just some workouts, just pop-up camps, right? In a gym and some other locations. And so people would just word of mouth through social media. But now that we've been around 2 years, it's amazing the people that are still finding us through social media and how people feel compelled to post about where they work out.
Right. We don't do much of that. I mean, you guys are the ones that really are the guiding light in the community. We just provide the service, we provide the building, and you guys are the ones that really create that avenue of support. And I think when people check in on their Facebook or they post about the transformations they've seen, they're obviously giving themselves a pat on the back, which is well deserved, but I think other people see it and can create some confidence in trying something new themselves as well.
And you don't dare call them classes.
Correct.
They are camps. And one of the things that I think also is really interesting, a lot of people get bored really easy with workouts, let's be honest.
Sure.
And I love getting a protocol on Sundays to plan out my week. I never did that before. That was never something offered to me. And it really does help you get in the mindset, but also figure out, like, if I can't be there one day, what's the day that I can afford to miss? Or at least that's what I look at if I have to do that, right?
Yeah, and the protocols we release so everybody can see those going in. And it's just to another way so you obviously don't get bored and so you don't hit a plateau and so it doesn't feel like you're hitting leg day 12 days in a row, that we have 18 to 25 different words we use in regards to that protocol, and the more you come, the more you get to understand the terminology we use, and to make it to where you're not getting bored. We try to make it as fun as possible when we're in there working out together.
Sure. Jarad, talk to me about how did you find your way into this? You were, so this is called Uniquely Kentucky, and I should tell folks this, that you are not a Kentuckian, but I let that slide. You're from Ohio, but you've been here long enough.
Right.
You played football for Georgetown College,
Yes.
and then ended up staying. Obviously, your wife is from Louisville, and then you made your home here in Lexington. So talk to me a little bit about your path, because I always think with athletes, any of us that played, you have such a drive in you. Where does that come from?
I think it came from an early age. I have a twin brother, and it was just us two running the show. I mean, I think that's all my parents could really handle, was just the two of us. And we always competed with each other, whether it was sports, whether it was in the classroom. And I think that's really what helped me improve and continue to work on my craft. And I was thinking about that a little bit as I was coming in, because I figured this is something we would talk about a little bit. But I always wanted to try to improve my skills on my own. Like I never really remember a time where my parents pushed me to go outside. And I have a big sports background. I played football and ran track at Georgetown, and I was never one that they were yelling at me to go outside. They were always telling me to come back in when it was too dark to even see the ball I was playing with at that point. But I think that goes a long way, and in the sports that we play really does help build a competitive nature and teamwork atmosphere, and it creates things that you can hold on to for your whole life. And playing at Georgetown, I won't get too lengthy in it, but I played as a freshman and as a junior, and then I ended up getting hurt and had some spinal issues and neck issues that ended my football playing career. But with that, made me want to learn more about corrective exercise and trying to get my health back to a point where it didn't hurt to put my shoes on in the morning. And that's where I really got into the exercise science and psychology in regards to the mindset and continuing down the personal training path.
Yeah, so it's interesting because Burn was started by Devin and Morgan Klein, and Devin is a former college athlete and also professional athlete. And so a lot of times when I watch the videos and I see him and I see you guys you remind me of each other, kind of that same way. So what's it been like kind of being mentored by somebody like this? Because this isn't just a gym that opens up. Like, you really are mentored by the folks that created this brand, created this workout plan, if you will. What have you learned from somebody like Devin?
Well, Devin and Morgan have both been great, and they come from humble beginnings, and you can really tell that when they're speaking to you. And before we even opened, I went down and spent a week with them to just learn some of the things he has learned along his process, and he knew my name before I even got there. And that means a lot to me. And when I was with him and I really connected because he did play professional baseball and his career got cut short because that's what his first goal was. And then when that got cut short, he had to find something that he was also passionate about, and that's where he found fitness. And he started Burn because he wanted to essentially give his mom a comfortable place to work out. And that's where this whole community started, and that's what we try to at least fulfill in Lexington, to where there's no mirrors on the wall, and we want to make sure that you are completely comfortable. And Devin's just been great, and I listen to all of his. He has a book, he has a podcast, he does all kinds of videos for us online, and he's always there to help and putting the other gyms before anything that he needs himself.
A facility can be a really tough place to walk into, male or female, but especially from the female side, that's the one thing that is really interesting, because in so many places, it's so easy to walk into some place and feel already judged,
Sure.
Maybe just by the way you look, what you have on, whatever. And that's the one thing. There are so many different women that come to Burn from all walks of life, all ages, all fitness levels. And eventually I look around the room and it doesn't matter anymore. Right. Like those things are gone, sure. Right? So talk to me a little bit about now going through this 2 years and being at Burn and the concept behind it. What do you think is the hardest thing for people to walk in and finally say, I'm going to start today?
I think the hardest thing is, number one, walking through the front doors for the first time. And if we can break that barrier, I think greatness can happen in and of itself on its own. And building success comes from your daily routine. And if you can consistently try to do something in regards to your health or fitness or reading or your education or mindset, because we do a lot of mental capacity things in regards to where we work at the gym, I think the hardest part is just getting yourself to try something new. And myself personally, when I'm at the gym and I see somebody walk in, I try to make it like less than 5 seconds before I run over and go say hi to them. Like even if I'm in the middle of a camp that has 1 million people in there running around, I still try to take a second to say, hey, how are you? Welcome. And then just to give them a smiling face to walk into, so they don't feel like they're off by themselves ever.
Yeah. I had a lady actually this morning that we were sitting on the wall. We were doing wall sits, holding a medicine ball. And I looked over at her and she had this big smile on her face. And she asked me a question and she said, are we going through twice today or 3 times? And I said, oh no, just twice today. And I said, but sometimes it's 3. And I said, oh, are you new? And she goes, yeah, I just love the positive vibe. Yeah. And I just think that's great, And then I walked by your office also the other day and I heard you talking to a client and I heard you say, yeah, I never tell you to restrict anything. And that really struck me, because sometimes this time of year, people have made that vow that I'm going to eat better and I'm going to do this. And that just struck me. It was so simple. But, and I saw, as I was walking by, I saw the client's face it was like relief, right? Yeah. Because I just think that sometimes we're so hard on ourselves.
We are. That's the first word I would have come up with, is it is there for a relief. Like if you keep a food log or a diary or something along those lines, for me, I want you to feel comfortable to log everything. I just want to see what your current habits are. I'm not there to give you a whole meal plan because I don't know what you're allergic to. I don't know what you like, what you don't like, and that's really going to set you up to fail. I'm really want to be the guiding light to help you succeed, and we want to add the good things into your life. We want to add the foods that we know will sustain your energy and make you feel better. We want to add the workouts in that we know will give you more energy and confidence later on down in life. So I never want to restrict anybody from anything. If we continue to add the good things on, some of those other things may fall off without even really thinking about it.
If people kind of, they hit the new year and they were really excited about doing something, and now we're a couple weeks in and they feel, instead of beating themselves up, what's like the one thing that they could just do for themselves, you think, that could just help, maybe not correct all of that, but just get them back one foot in front of the other in the path?
I think it starts with your mindset, and something I heard a while back. I don't remember where I heard it, but it's something that has stayed with me for a long time, and it's you will never be physically ready if you're not mentally prepared. So you need to, first of all, have a positive outlook on the goals you've set for yourself, and understand that some of them may take 3 months. Some of them may take 8 months. And if you continue just one day at a time and scratching each day off the list, you may look back and be so surprised with the substantial growth you've made to really look back and understand the progress you have made. And then that will continue to push you forward.
A lot of times we get stuck on weight. It's a number.
Right.
And sometimes I think more it should be about what could I do this week at the gym? Did I do 5 more push-ups than I thought I could do? Instead of, did I lose 5 pounds this week?
Right.
And that's really hard for people, isn't it?
It is. And I did
And working with women, it's really hard, Jarad. I know.
I did a self-study almost with some of our clients in there, and I had them all write down a couple things that they felt like they've accomplished outside of weight goals, outside of strength goals. And the 2 most consistently, things that were brought up were I have more confidence and I have more energy. And those go a long way. I mean, if you have more confidence, if you have more energy, you can spend more time with your family. You can run around more so with your kids. And those are huge success points that aren't necessarily weight driven. Yeah. And those are more functional. Those are what you'll see more so in your daily life as you continue in age and progress through your life. That if you stay confident, if you continue to have enough energy to get through the day, you'll have a better positive outlook on life.
It's terrible as a society that we're so tied to those numbers, that number on the scale, whatever it says, we're so tied to it. I hate that. If somebody wants to kind of start out and let's say maybe obviously you want them to come to Burn, but let's say they're just trying to get going. What would you say are like the 5 exercises that you could do, maybe so many reps, so many times that would get you going, like get a good heart rate going?
Well, there's a lot of body weight things that you could do, and I would say if you want to try any fitness facility, they're all great. There's one on every corner, so I want you to find something that you actually enjoy doing. Like that's the number one thing, that if you like going there, I think you need to continue to go there. If you feel like it's monotonous, if you feel like you're stuck in a rut, maybe it's time for a change. But some of those exercises, you want to get a full body, you want a push, a pull, so you would want a push up, you would want a squat. You'd want some sort of ab work, which could be a stabilized plank, or it could be any sort of crunch work, depending on if you have any injuries or things of that nature. And then if you just went for a walk or run or something along those lines, I mean, it's always good to get some fresh air before you do anything else.
Definitely. Water's got to be key, right?
Right.
Water
well,
is...
for sure. That's always, when we have our first meetings with people, water's always the first thing that I tell them will help with your energy and help if you have headaches or if you need just an extra little bump. Water is something that, and I always say half of your weight in ounces of water is a great place to start.
What holds people back the most, Jarad, you think? I mean, you've spent now several years doing this, not just at Burn, but other places. And so you've worked a lot one-on-one with people. What's that one probably consistent thing that you think you hear from people that really holds them back and also pushes them forward?
I think what holds people back the most is again, if we go back to social media, some of the stuff that you can see on there, that I think the whole fitness avenue is flipped on its head, and that's something that we're trying to correct. And you see all of these either fitness models or either just influencers posting pictures of their 6-packs or the trips they're taking in their bathing suits, and people feel so far removed from what they see, and not to mention what they see may not even be the real picture of what they actually look like, and all the different edits that they can do nowadays, that I think people feel so discouraged before they even start, that's what we're trying to help with the most is, wherever you currently sit is a great place to start. And your day one could be tomorrow. And that consistency again and building off some momentum and positivity can really help with you. And then on the other side of that spectrum, once you do complete that day one, feel proud of yourself. Even if it was for 15 minutes. If you plan on coming to Burn, and we've seen it before, you go through one whole circuit versus 2, and that's still a step in the right direction, and you should still be proud of that.
And not to beat yourself up, because you and I have talked a lot about this, and I've expressed this to you, is that I love working out and I love what I do, but I realize at a certain age, even though I still eat the same, do the same things, sometimes you just don't got it, that's not good grammar, but I just don't got it. And it's okay, to not beat yourself up, that you're still doing something, right? I didn't stay in bed. I didn't, eat eat bad just because I didn't go. And so I think for women, for sure, and for some guys too, it's just really hard to get out of that mindset that stop beating yourself up about things.
Right. That's true. And we offer 6 days a week, and we're closed on the Sunday, and we do that on purpose as a day off, and we do that as you can use that day as a meal prep day. But if you miss one of the 6 days we're open, I tell people that's perfectly fine. You know, sometimes your body does need that rest, and rest can almost be more beneficial to you than trying to just come to the gym because you would be really mad at yourself for missing a day. So that and your body may need that recovery, and your body might be telling you something. So it's okay to listen to those things, and you can find other avenues of support. If you enjoy reading, do that instead, and you can find some guiding light in that.
I've heard this lecture a lot, folks, and it's finally sunk in. Finally has. I promise it has. Jarad, you are so upbeat, and I know it's part of the job. Like, you have to bring this positive vibe to the facility. But also, I know that because I live in a world, too, where I kind of have to be on a lot, right? So how do you, like, de-stress? How do you decompress? Because, let's face it, being on all the time is genuine. I really believe that for me and you. But sometimes it's just hard. So how do you find time to, because, like, I work out to get rid of that, right? What do you do?
Right. Well, I work out myself. I mean, and it's cool to say because I get to hang out with some of my best friends all day. So it really doesn't feel like work, and I want to be that support, that servant leader for you, and just somebody that you can talk to, someone that you feel comfortable with, and that you'll get a good workout with as well. And I try to be positive, and we do a lot of mindset when I'm over the mic training camps that sometimes can sound like white noise, but I think every now and then it can stick with you with some of the things that we say. But I like to work out when I'm not at the gym. I go home and hang out with my wife and my son, and just spending 20 minutes running around with them can just get my mind off everything, and then be a great reset to get back in and get back on for the rest of the workouts.
What keeps you going? Like, let's say this, it's been 2 years now. What's been your best moment being a part of the Burn family, and just being a part of, the health and wellness of so many individuals? Have you had that moment where you're like, wow, this is really cool? Like, this is...
Recently I have. There's maybe two things I can bring up. Number one, obviously with the new year, we are doing a challenge and just trying to get our current members re-engaged into some of the goals they've set, as well as welcome anybody new that wanted to try Burn Boot Camp out. And with these challenges, it's been so cool to see people try things they never thought they were able to do before, like a pull-up. And we have bands that we use, and we make it comfortable. And there'll be people that flat out look at me like, I am not getting up there.
You want me to do what?
Yeah. And members will run over. Like, I won't even say a word. Like, no, you're going to do it, and I'm going to help you.
Oh, that's awesome.
And there's like 6 other members that will jump in and help them. And when they do one rep, just the look that they give you with the accomplishment and how excited they are. And the next time they do it, they'll jump up by themselves and never look back. And I think that's really, really amazing. And the second thing is just really being able to help as many people as I can in this community. When I was doing more one-on-one training or the semi-private stuff, I felt like I was making an impact, but maybe I was seeing 20 people a day. And now it's like 300 people a day. And I still feel like I get that one-on-one touch with being able to show modifications up if you need something more, modifications down if something's bothering you, or if you're pregnant or coming off a hip surgery or something along those lines. So really being able to help more people, and then just to see the look on their face when they try something new and they actually accomplish it is amazing.
That's awesome. And I think it's about community, right? So if anybody doesn't know about Burn, one of the things that you're sort of encouraged to do is high five people. And for some people coming in, that's a really weird, odd thing. I mean, I had to get used to it, but now it's just what you do. And I realize, like, even I might not know someone's name, but I see them day in and day out, right? And you are encouraged to know people's names, and that's important. But sometimes it's just that, like, human element that
it is.
You're right beside me, slugging it out too. Sure. And that's really cool.
There's more than just the high five in a psychological mindset, and the human touch and the look you can give somebody, be like, he's absolutely killing me today. But they'll give that look to you right back, right?
But like, and then if you're going down, I'm going down with you, right?
and that human contact can really mean a lot to somebody, especially if it's their first day and they don't know anybody, and they can leave saying, well, gosh, they they really do care about me. Like even the other members, they're trying to hit the goals they want to accomplish, but they also know I'm trying to improve upon myself, and they're going to help me.
Yeah, I see it every single day. Again, they're women from all walks of life. Moms that come in with 3 kids in tow, and you can tell they just want 30 minutes to themselves, or people like me, they're just there to de-stress, and it's like, wow, you really see people that have connected that probably would never have connected before, and for that 45 minutes, they're there. Jarad, if people want to check out Burn, where do they find you guys? How do they keep up with you guys?
Best place would be Facebook or Instagram. We do have a website that's burnbootcamp.com that has all kinds of information for you to utilize with a blog and nutrition stuff and at-home workouts if you want to try them first. But if you go to Facebook, that'll show you some sneak peeks of our workouts. That'll give you different guides and different exercises and things of that nature with links to how you would sign up. Or you can just come by and stop by the gym that we're located in the Distillery District, 363 Thompson Road. We share a parking lot with the borough, and all you can do is just come by, and you'll be welcomed by either me, because I'm there all the time, or one of our amazing staff members to get you going.
And last question, we all need inspiration every single day. Where do you draw your inspiration from?
I would say, Devin and Morgan are great, and I use them quite a bit, and I also go back to some of my playing days and the injuries I've suffered in the past, and just how hard I work to overcome those injuries. And I know that there are people currently going through some of those things, and it may not even be their like a knee injury. It may be a breakup. It may be something with their family.
Just
life. And I want to be there to help them. And I have a lot of corrective exercise, as well as just be able to sit with you and talk and make sure that you can leave feeling a little bit de-stressed versus when you came in.
A podcast guest said to me once, life gets lifey sometimes.
It sure does.
So it's always nice to know that you have somebody in your corner. Also, I said last question, but I do have to ask, how does a guy that comes in, pushes other people to work out, and then his wife is at home with a new business making these ginormous brownies?
I mean, it's
what? That seems unfair,
combo.
Right?
I have to make sure.
Give her a shout out. What is she doing?
So my wife, Erin, she is the brownie bae. If you follow her on social media, and she's making these crazy, outrageous brownies that are amazing. And I hate to say, but I've tried way too many of them, and I eat way too many of them. And I'm to the point now where it's like, whatever brownies are made, they're already claimed.
Yeah.
I'm just going to tell myself that. But they're great, and sometimes eating is as emotional as anything. So sometimes you just need that little sweet, that little bump, that little I'm just going to do it. But make sure you enjoy it. Make sure you're conscious and not just eating, watching TV, and you look down and the whole plate is gone. But sometimes we need that as well.
Yeah. Well, she is a small business owner, and she's been doing a couple of things. So I just want to make sure we give her a shout out so that we can all know that is why we're working out, is to eat the brownie-based brownies, right? Jarad, thanks so much. I really appreciate what you guys are doing. And I love what you said. It doesn't matter if you come to Burn. It doesn't matter if you find any facility that's on every street corner. It's about your health and your wellness, and it's about so much more than a number on the scale, right?
It is.
So
it sure is.
It's longevity for all of us. Thanks so much.